Tonight on SportsDesk, they're incredible. The Canes will play in a bowl game for the first time in 3 years. Our In the Trenches crew will break down how they got to this point and what it will take to win.
Plus, the scoop on hoops, an impressive start for both the men's and women's basketball teams. Our Hurricane Hangtime team will give you all of the details.
And later, warm hearts and martial arts. We'll take a look at a special couple who are helping children with new and important life skills.
All that and more.
SportsDesk starts right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former UM guy. You're watching SportsDesk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching SportsDesk.
Hello, happy holidays, and welcome to Sports Desk. I'm Ryan Marshall.
And I'm Jake Baum. We have a great episode tonight to welcome in the holiday season and celebrate our final episode of 2023.
Absolutely, and what better way to spread the joy than check out some of the best plays from the most recent Canes football victory. The Canes shipped up to Boston last week to take on the Eagles in Chestnut Hill, and they brought the Miami Heat up north. We're going to start out here in the first quarter where Boston College is going to have Kyle Robichaux jump over the line, do a complete flip into the end zone. That's going to take some courage, and he's going to get Boston College an early lead to start out. And late in the first, Mark Fletcher's going to get this 1 yard line. He's going to fight his way into the end zone to even it up for Miami. Looking in the second quarter, where Miami is going to outscore Boston College 21-0, starting with this Henry Parrish outside run for 15 yards, rushing straight into the back of the end zone right there. Next up here, we're going to have, at the end of the half, Henry Parrish is going to fight his way to the end zone. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? Oh, yep. Is the ref come up? Yes, that is in right there. That is going to give them a 28-7 lead at the end of the half. And late in the fourth, to add insult to injury, A.J. Allen's going to split straight down the middle and rush this one in for 30 yards, giving Miami a 45-20 lead. And this is going to give them a 45-20 victory for their 7th win of the season in Tyler Van Dyke's last game as a Miami Hurricane.
With the regular season wrapped up, Canes football has made plenty of noise before their upcoming bowl game. Wrigley Court and Andrew Klein are here to give us all of the details live on this week's In the Trenches. Guys?
Hello and welcome to In the Trenches. I'm your host, Wrigley Court, joined by analyst Andrew Klein. Let's get down to business. Obviously, the big news of the week on Monday, quarterback Tyler Van Dyke announced that he intends to transfer. Van Dyke was a 3-year starter for the Canes. And Andrew, he had his ups and downs, but what were your thoughts on Van Dyke's tenure?
It was definitely a tumultuous tenure for Tyler Van Dyke here in Coral Gables. There were some ups, there were some downs, and it was really just a poor ending for Tyler Van Dyke, a guy who came in and was phenomenal as a freshman. The 2,900 yards, 25 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, and then it started to snowball. He lost his confidence last year. The receivers weren't as good as they were when he was a freshman, neither were the tight end room, and it just started to snowball, as I mentioned, Wrigley. It got a little bit worse and a little bit worse, and it was never really able to get fixed, and that's what stinks about Tyler Van Dyke, because he came in so high, so great, and then it all just came crashing down.
Well, Andrew, despite the Van Dyke news, the Canes season isn't over. They are set to play a bowl game in a few weeks, but with Van Dyke leaving and Emory Williams out for the season, they will turn to quarterback Ja'Cory Brown, the sophomore, to start that game. Now, Ja'Cory Brown obviously isn't the same caliber passer as Tyler Van Dyke, but as you can see on your screen, in 8 games last year, only 2 starts, he had over 200 rushing yards. That's more than Van Dyke has in his entire college career.
Yeah, Wrigley, it's definitely an interesting figure that Ja'Cory Brown is, tantalizing, some Miami fans might say, because he's had some great moments and some poor moments. It was great in this Georgia Tech game. There's a phenomenal throw to Will Mallory, the tight end, but he really struggled in that Clemson game. Went just 6 of 13, 53 yards, no touchdowns, the 1 interception, missed some key throws in that game, but this is what he does best. He's elusive once he gets outside of the pocket, and that's what's going to make Miami's offense so dangerous, because you have a guy that can make plays with his legs in Ja'Cory Brown.
Now, Andrew, normally right now we talk about the Canes' upcoming matchup, but we don't know much about it. We don't know what bowl they're playing in. We don't know who they're playing. One thing we do know, it is our last episode of the semester, so let's take a look at the future. Andrew, what are your keys for the Canes just moving forward?
Well, Wrigley, it's my last semester watching Canes football here in Coral Gables, so here's what I think they need to do to be successful next year. Number one, you got to surround Emory Williams with talent. We've seen that the guy has the intangibles to be a good quarterback. He played a good game against Clemson, against Florida State as well, but Miami now needs to build around him to get him to that next level. Number two, come on now. You got to be aggressive in the portal. You're losing your 2 safeties and a number of other guys. Miami's got to fill those holes. And number 3, the most important thing, you got to build off of this year. 7-5 is good. Now it's time to get great.
Well, Andrew, for the last time, that's all the time we have, so let's send it back to Jake at the desk.
In 2021, the University of Miami hired Dan Radakovich to man the helm of Miami Athletics. And Tatenda Mukareshija sat down with the man on this week's edition of Athletic Director of the Week. Tatenda?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Athlete of the Week. I'm your host, Tatenda Mukareshija, and today I'm joined by the man who oversees the entire athletics department, Dan Radakovich. Welcome.
Tatenda, how are you? It's great to be here.
I'm so good. Thank you for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I would love to start off with a game. Are you ready?
Sure, that's what we do in athletics.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start off with this or that. I would love to know, beach or pool?
Pool.
Pool? Okay. Fruits or veggies?
Fruits.
Okay. Singing or dancing?
Dancing.
Dancing. Love that. Asia or Europe?
Europe.
Europe. Okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Love it. So I know the students would love to know, what does your job entail as the athletics director of University of Miami?
Well, it's incredibly unique, and I say that because every day is a little different.
Yeah.
The athletic director kind of is the liaison between the university and its athletic program, and leads it from the standpoint of financing, hirings, dismissals, programmatic choices within the program, as well as being an advocate for our student athletes on campus.
I'd love to know, so what are some of your plans at the University of Miami in the future?
We did a lot of research as it relates to softball here in the South Florida area, as well as we're a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference, and the ACC is very, very good in women's softball. So when we add our next women's sport, that women's sport will be softball, and hopefully maybe sometime this academic year we'll be able to make the official announcement and move forward.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Amazing having you. Thank you. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. I'm your host, Tatenda Mukareshija. Remember to be good, and if you can be good, be safe. Back to you at the desk.
Coming up, Canes baseball has a new lead man, and my co-anchor Jake Baum will talk to the man trying to lead the Canes to Omaha. Stick around.
Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
Of course I've thought about it, but there's all this stuff in the way.
Oh, you're not kidding.
The house, the kids are going to college.
My new car.
Car? You bought a new car?
Oh, hey, you should meet my friend Avo. Avo's a retirement coach. He'll help get you started.
But what does Avo tell you to do?
You don't know? Focus on your future. Your goals can still be met.
But how?
Target your tomorrow. And use the Avo bet.
You sing?
Not really. A is for taking action. Start off with a plan.
You built these letters?
Yep. V is for variety. There's so many ways you can.
I follow you.
Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice sign.
Thanks, I made it myself.
Cool.
It's the holiday season, so it's finally below 80 degrees in Miami, and sleigh bells are ringing because volleyball is bringing the heat. As they made the NCAA tournament, our guy is here to spread some festive cheer. Here is Niles Nassim.
Aha, it's Christmas time, ladies and gentlemen, which means it's showtime for the one time because I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most electrifying segment on TV with me, Niles Nassim, your host with the most. So when you see me on screen, it's time to go behind the post. Are you ready to dance? That's right, shout out to Canes Volleyball because they are rocking and rolling in the NCAA tournament. And Canes fans all around the world are so proud. They are coming off laying the absolute smackdown against UNI 3-1, and they are looking to go on a miraculous run. Their next game is actually happening right now against Wisconsin, and you should be all in. Tune in right now after the show to see if they make it to the next round. And the future is looking bright because it's almost time to be back at Mark Light. I mean, baseball had their media day this week, and it looks like the content is hitting it out of the park. I'm so excited because I can smell the aroma of those amazing milkshakes. Just hold on, baby, we're coming home. Can't wait to see you all this spring for another great baseball season. And well, unfortunately, the Canes suffered their first loss of the season to Kentucky. And boy, were they unlucky. However, they are still great at number 8 in the nation, and they will take on Notre Dame tomorrow at noon, so redemption is coming soon. We will see you live tomorrow at the Wasco Center. Be there or be square. And finally, I love showing good things that happen to good people. Roll the clip.
Congratulations, Rookie of the Year, ACC.
No! Congratulations, Ruben. What an incredible year you had, sir. Well deserved. Keep shining, and know that we at Sports Desk simply salute you. But that's all the time I have for you today. As always, remember, be blessed, never stress, because you know where to find me, right here on Sports Desk. I'm Niles Nassim, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Niles. It was a mixed bag for the men's and women's hoops team this week at the ACC-SEC Challenge. The men couldn't quite finish the job against Kentucky, while the women remain undefeated after beating Mississippi State. Let's swing it over to Jordan, Mike, and Annie to break it all down.
Thanks, guys, and welcome back to Hurricane Hang Time. I'm your host, Jordan Cerullo, joined by Michael Muela and Annie Watson. The men's squad had successful wins over both Georgia and Kansas State in the Baha Mar Hoops tournament. Mike, tell us how it went down.
Well, Jordan, seeing as that it's the season of giving, we're all in our Christmas colors, and Miami was giving out gifts in the form of buckets last week down in Nassau. Call it a little bit of Miami magic, and a big reason why, double-digit victory against Georgia, and a very almost double-digit victory against Nigel Pack's former team, Kansas State. He had a 28-point game against the Wildcats, part of him leading up to winning the tournament and the tournament MVP award. But it wasn't just him. Let's take a look at some of the other Miami players who really balled out in the Bahamas. Matthew Cleveland, 16.5 points per game. Norchad Omier, 17.5 points per game. Both of them shooting over 40% from the field. So Miami was able to use that veteran leadership to step up and start 5-0 on this very young season.
Kentucky killed Miami in their matchup Tuesday night. Take us through some of the areas where they struggled.
Sure thing, Jordan. That ACC-SEC challenge was no problem for John Calipari's 12th-ranked Wildcats. But for Jim Laranaga's 8th-ranked Hurricanes, it was just miscue after miscue after miscue. The biggest one of them, 42.9% from 3 against for the Kentucky Wildcats. Reed Shepherd went 5 of 9 from deep. But that wasn't the only miscue that Miami had, as you can see by this graphic. The turnover ratio, got to be better, more efficient while handling the ball. Points off turnover, stopping those transition points, and that field goal percentage, 44-59. You can't win games like that. And with Notre Dame coming into town, the Wasco Center this Saturday for the ACC opener, Miami's got to figure out some stuff fast.
Moving over to the women, they had a great run in the Miami Thanksgiving tournament, defeating both Colgate and ETSU. Annie, who stood out the most?
Well, for the game against Colgate, it's got to go to Jasmine Roberts and Lachey Dwyer. Roberts had 13 points and 3 rebounds, while Lachey had 10 points, 5 steals, and 3 rebounds against this Colgate squad. While for the game against ETSU, Cheyenne Day Wilson killed it off the bench with 19 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists. Leading into Wednesday, this women's team was 5-0.
Yeah, the women had a close game against Mississippi State on Wednesday. How are they able to pull off the upset?
They were dominant in the defense and off the bench. 3 of the 4 double-digit point scorers, came off the bench, while Jasmine Roberts was the only starter to have double-digit points with 15 points and 9 rebounds, and especially Lazaria Spearman. She was able to supplement Jasmine's defensive dominance and had 11 points and 15 rebounds. So against a dominant offense in the Bulldogs, Miami came home from Starkville with a win.
Both squads will continue on with their seasons through the holiday break, but that wraps up our season here on Hang Time. We will see you next semester. Back to you.
There is a new skipper for the Miami Hurricanes baseball team. He's a familiar face for loyal Canes fans, and the excitement among the team is palpable. I sat down with him to talk about his anticipation for this upcoming season. It's a new start for the Miami Hurricanes baseball team. After 5 years under head coach Gino DeMare, there's a new face that will be making lineups for the Canes, J.D. Arteaga, a Miami native who has baseball running through his veins.
From Miami, Cuban American, first generation born in the United States. It's, I know it's America's pastime, but it's a Cuban passion, so it's something that I've loved since I was, 4 years old, and grew up playing and grew up watching the Canes play and sneak into the stadium when we couldn't afford tickets to come to the games, and I feel like I grew up in this park.
After 4 years pitching for the Canes since the 90s, followed by 21 years as the pitching coach for the Hurricanes, this southpaw takes the reins for the Canes, and he says he has never wanted to leave.
I think Miami's a city. It's tough to compare to any other city, and I've lived in a bunch, being in the minor leagues, and just nothing really compares to Miami. My family's here. My whole life's been here.
Producing All-American after All-American, I asked him what has contributed to his success bringing out his players' full potential.
Good players. Yeah. I think good players make good coaches, good and players that are coachable, right, and want to learn and want to get better.
His impact on his players is immeasurable, including Gage Zeal, who attributes much of his success to JD's coaching.
As a pitching coach, he helped me develop new pitches, look at my pitches from a different perspective, helped me with my mechanics, and also really helped me with the mental side of the game too.
As always, there's only one goal, to get to Omaha, and Coach Arteaga's players say that he is establishing the right culture to get there.
JD established this motto is coming out every day with passion, with energy, ready to learn, ready to grow, and he brought in great assistant coaches with him. He's definitely a players guy, players coach.
And I think he's putting that on us as players as well. So I think I really like what he's doing with us.
Reporting for UMTV, I'm Jake Baum.
Up next, one South Florida couple is helping children with special needs by teaching them a skill you might not expect. Michael Muella has the story when we come back. But first, it's time for some trivia. This is only the third time that Canes Women's Hoops has started 6-0 under head coach Katie Meyer. But when was the last time that it happened? Is it A, 2019, B, 2015, C, 2009, or D, 2006? Stay right here because we have the answer when SportsDesk returns.
I reflect on my time at UMTV as something that has been inherent to my growth as a journalist, especially with SportsDesk and my passion for covering sports. I still remember when I actually got to SportsDesk in the spring that the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and I put together a package. It was a profile on a track and field sprinter who was an NCAA Women of the Year candidate. And I don't know if I would even insinuate that it resembled a package on that rough cut, but I knew that it was something I could develop and it would become something that was truly mine.
All right, guys.
All right, just like Nigel. Ready?
Here you go. Oh, come on,
not
Jake.
even give me a chance. I was a sharpshooter back in. Get back.
I got
it. A little bit of help.
It's been a lovely time here at SportsDesk. I've basically began SportsDesk as someone who basically knew barely anything about anything, and my skills have grown exponentially since the beginning of it to now. Easily one of my favorite memories when thinking about SportsDesk is the time that I got to do a live shot at NRG Stadium for the Final Four for Canes Hoops when they were there. I mean, the amount of fun I had at that event was truly, it was a once in a lifetime experience being.
Thanks for staying with us. If you guys beat, you're right. In the 2015 season, Miami started 10-0 before losing to 4th-ranked Baylor. The Canes went on to finish the year 24-9 and reached the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Canes volleyball is still dancing to the NCAA tournament after the first round win over Northern Iowa. Zach Macer and Taryn Jacobs gave us a preview earlier today of their matchup against Wisconsin on the Post Roundup. Guys?
Hello and welcome to the last edition of the O Sports Roundup for this semester. I'm Taryn Jacobs.
And I'm Zach Macer. Taryn, after Canes volleyball got batted out of the first round of the NCAA tournament last year, they had a chance in consecutive years to move on for NCAA tournament glory this time round.
That's right, Zach. Canes entered the NCAA tournament last night playing in their first round against 8th-seeded Northern Iowa, where they pulled off an upset and came out victorious with a 3-1 victory. The team effort was phenomenal last night, but the standouts were Savannah Vaughn and Grace Lopez. Savannah Vaughn set a program record in career assists, adding 44 more to her name last night for a total of 5,209 total assists and counting. And Grace Lopez, like we've been saying all semester long, just phenomenal. She set a new career record in kills with 30 last night, putting her third in program history books for kills in a single match. But Zach, the Canes now move on into the next round, taking on Wisconsin tonight. They're definitely no Northern Iowa. What do they need to do to win?
Oh, that's for sure. They're the #1 seed in this side of the bracket of that tournament, as well as the #3 team in the entire nation. That's because they're simply an offensive powerhouse. They showcased it against the Canes actually earlier on this year. On September 8th, the Canes went to Madison, Wisconsin, and they didn't basically do anything against the Wisconsin Badgers. They got swept 3-0, and 2 of the sets had a difference of over 10. That was a 28-11 set there and a 20-15 set in the first and third, respectively. Temi Thomas-Ailara and Sarah Franklin have been on fire. They did it. They had 10 or more kills in the game against Jackson State yesterday, so make sure to look out for them when the Canes take on Wisconsin tonight.
That's a lot of time we have for this week's edition of the O Sports Roundup. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. One South Miami couple is helping kids diagnosed with special needs develop necessary skills and build confidence through the sport of jiu-jitsu. Here's Michael Muella with more.
Michael Fernandez and his wife Christine have a big passion. They love the sport of jiu-jitsu and they love teaching it to others.
And I've been working with kids in jiu-jitsu for several years, about 20 plus years. About the same time I started working with jiu-jitsu, I started teaching jiu-jitsu.
But martial arts isn't the only things the couple is passionate about. They also have a lot of experience in dealing with special needs kids. Michael also works as a school teacher and incorporates lessons from the classroom to the mat.
The way it came about is being a teacher, being an instructor for jiu-jitsu, there was a part of society, kids that were kind of lacking having a place for that. And then my wife is a BCBA. She works with special needs kids.
So, in 2016, the Fernandezes combined their two passions and opened the first Order of Jiu-Jitsu studio in Miami. Here, they teach kids and teens with special needs jiu-jitsu on a Friday and Saturday program called Just Us 2.
Well, the Just Us 2 program, of course, is a program for kids on the spectrum, but all kids that have special needs. When we opened up and we made a program for Just Us 2.
According to the CDC, about 1 in 10 children in the United States is diagnosed with developmental disabilities, and there are several ways to help these kids, whether through academic services, professional therapists working hands-on with the child, or physical activities like jiu-jitsu.
So kids were getting all of these great services really early on and like really good early intervention, whether it was early speech therapy, early occupational therapy, right, early physical therapy. And all of those therapies were really helpful.
The First Order of Jiu-Jitsu is determined to help not just the special needs children, but also their families.
If you put yourself in the parents' shoes, a lot of times there's no activities for kids that have special needs. Here, they are doing jiu-jitsu, 110% of it, with the parents.
Inside the First Order Jiu-Jitsu studio, it's not just about the lessons that the senseis are teaching these kids, it's about the bonds that grow from them.
It actually helps my oldest, Marcus, get out his frustration. You can tell in the mat when we're fighting, when we're practicing, he has a lot of pent-up frustration that he releases. It helps him out a lot to deal with his emotions, training, getting better, getting stronger.
Hundreds of kids have been trained through the program, and Michael and Christine hope to continue making a difference for many more children.
So it was a beautiful program that has taken place for the past 4 years, and hopefully we continue to make it.
I hope that programs like this continue to kind of pop up all over the place. Any place where there are, where there are other kids that, can provide a safe, inclusive environment, I think is extremely important.
Michael Muella, UMTV.
Still ahead, we tee off with Gigi's Playhouse for Kids with Down Syndrome in their recent fundraiser. Simone Warner has the story when we return.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Members of one local organization had a whole lot of fun at their annual golf fundraisers 2 weeks ago. Simone Werner has the story.
Gigi's Playhouse Miami offers free support for over 200 people with Down syndrome in South Florida. Just over 2 weeks ago, more than 50 people participated in the organization's 4th annual golf tournament at the Pembroke Lakes Golf Course.
We do this every year because this is one of our major fundraising events.
One of the Playhouse members sang the national anthem to get the event rolling. And then the 3-hour tournament began. The founder of Gigi's Playhouse says fundraisers like this keep the center open.
Everybody used to tell me like, oh, I don't think you're gonna be able to open Gigi's Playhouse in Miami. Miami's too expensive, you're never gonna make it, and people doesn't like to help. And look, we've been 2 years.
And those 2 years have been life-changing for its members.
And the first time I just went there at Gigi's Playhouse, it's like my heart is it's telling me that I found a place.
The organization offers art, fitness, and cooking classes at the Playhouse every week for people of all ages. Gigi's also connects families to local health and educational resources for people with Down syndrome. It also gives Playhouse members a place to make new best friends.
Now everybody loves me. I feel like it's home for me because I feel like the passion that you have right here. But they really do feel like it's a family. I never had a friend with my condition.
Gigi's is more than just a home for the Playhouse friends, and its impact goes beyond its members.
We are making difference to people's lives. So, and even when I get a text message from a mom and say, you know, how much Gigi has made to my family, that makes my heart very happy.
And it truly is making a difference. To learn more about the organization, visit gigisplayhouse.org/Miami. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Simone Werner.
The Orlando Magic defeated the Washington Wizards at home on Wednesday, but one fast break finish from Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony might remind you of an iconic Miami Heat duo. Let's visit Amway Center for this week's edition of Play of the Day. All right, it's going to be Wizards and Magic. Jalen Suggs gets a steal of the ball off the Wizards. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to lob it right up for Cole Anthony. And look what Jalen Suggs does right after that. Does that remind you of something? It should. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James took place right here in Miami just a while ago. Orlando would go on to win 139-120, and Orlando improves to second place in the East. And that will be your Play of the Day.
Miami Hurricanes baseball season is just under 3 months away, and the team recently released their photos from Media Day. And the players took some inspiration from some famous movies. Let's take a look. As we can see here, I think this is actually a stock photo. We got Zootopia with the Miami mascot there. We got Step Brothers. And from what I've heard is this is actually going to be photos of the players and what they would look like if they weren't a baseball player. So you got Starbucks barista, you got a bouncer there, PE coach, used car salesman, Will Ferrell double. I see the resemblance. I see the resemblance. We got a what is this? Who are our SportsDesk lookalikes? You know, what? Hit me with one. Hit me with one.
You look like you'd be an hour late to come fix my cable box.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'll give you.
I would say you look like a English teacher who's having to pick up take the speech and debate team as kind of your extracurricular thing. You know?
I so would. You know, I so would. But that, unfortunately, is all that time we have for our final episode of the semester on Sports Desk. We will be gone for winter break.
But don't worry, because Sports Desk will be back in February every Friday night with a brand new season. And we wish you a very happy holidays, and we'll see you soon. Good night.